Sometimes I find
Woo!
myself lazy staring up at the
I like that.
I know that this
You know what? You know what? This sounds perfect. I need to go to the car right now so I can hear it in its full entirety and, feel the bass and the whole song just around me. Let's go to the car. Let's go to the car. All right. Let's get this thing plugged in. Let's turn it up to freaking 50, dude. I want to hear this thing in its entirety. Let's go. Oh, no, whoa. This isn't what I heard. This isn't what I made. Oh, come on. Has this ever happened to you? Hey guys, my name's Mikey, aka Mikey Wizard, and I'm gonna be showing you guys how to avoid getting your heart broken by checking out your mix in the car, so stay tuned. Tip number 1, your speakers. Mine's right here, down there. The speakers that you're using to reference your mixes on are gonna change the way that they represent the sound that you're hearing. Some speakers have more bass, some speakers have less bass. If you're using computer speak or desktop speakers, they're probably not giving you a very accurate representation. You're gonna wanna get some monitors that are made for the studio. That way it can have an accurate representation of what you're doing in the mix. If you need to invest in some studio monitors, there's lots of good affordable ones that are on the market. Mine were pretty cheap. I want to say around 130 bucks. I got them on sale from a website called Monoprice. They're really simple, they're really basic, they're not fancy at all. They have other ones like KRKs, Atom Audios, Yamahas that do really, really great. I would really invest in getting some studio monitors to start off there. Tip number 2, the way that your speakers are set up. There is a correct way to set them up. You can adjust your own preferences once you start to learn, but this is my recommendation. You're going to want to set up your speakers in an equilateral triangle. So you have the 2 speakers, they're the same distance from each other, and also each speaker from the listener is the same speaker to make a cone shape like this. Another thing to keep in mind is the height of the tweeters need to be lined up with your ears. So if my tweeters are right here, then when I sit down in my chair, my ears need to line up with the height of this tweeter. You definitely want to avoid having them too close, and you don't want them pointed at you directly. You want them pointing at about a 45-degree angle towards your ears, and you don't want them too far. I've seen a lot of people do this where they put them very far out to the sides and they put them very high up on the walls. I don't recommend doing that if you're just starting out. Go for the equilateral design and try to get those tweeters at the same height as your ears. And if you look at the speaker, you should be able to look directly into the cone. Sound travels very fast. So when sound comes out of the speakers, it travels. And my room is pretty small, so it bounces off the walls a bunch of times, and then it hits my ears again. All those reflections hit my ear. So what I'm hearing is the signal from the speaker and from the reflection of the wall coming into my ears, which is not accurate. That's one big reason why when you translate your mixes to the car or some headphones, you start to hear things that you didn't hear before, and that's because the reflections in the room are decreasing the accuracy of your speakers. So one way to do that is to get foam on the walls. If you don't have foam, you don't have to spend $1,000 on foam because you easily can. You can try putting a couch in your room or a futon or a rug. All of these things, all of these furniture pieces help absorb the sound, so when the sound hits it, instead of bouncing off of a bare wall or a bare floor, it actually hits it and the sound diffuses within it. So really look into that. Look online for like DIY acoustic treatment, acoustic foam. And if you start getting that down pretty good, then you can look for bass traps. But this is really going to help all your decision-making process a lot faster because you can actually rely on the speakers to be more accurate. Another thing that really helps me is reference mixes. So let's say I got a rap song coming out, either for me or for someone else that I'm mixing. If you reference like popular rap music today and you can listen to their track and your track, flip back and forth, and you can see how yours competes with it. When you flip back and forth, is there a huge change where you're like, whoa, my mix sounds weird, or does it like naturally like switch? Does it sound like it flows from song to song? If it was playing on the radio or playing on a playlist, and let's say Travis Scott's song was playing and his song was ending and your song came on, would the mix compete? Would the bass feel the same? Would the vocal be at a good volume? Would the effects be too loud or not loud enough? Try to keep that in mind when you're mixing. Using a reference track can help huge, because otherwise if you're not sure how you want it to sound, you're just taking a stab at the dark and saying, hey, I hope this sounds good. But really, when I first started out, using reference mixes was huge. Now, at the start of this video, I went in the car to go see how the mix sounded in the car. And if it really did sound terrible, I wouldn't stop there. I'd come back and I'd try to fix it. And I would check it on other places too. So I would check it in the car. I would check it in Apple earbuds, Skull Candy earbuds, over-the-ear Sony headphones. Anything I can. I check it on laptop speakers, phone speakers. Try to hear it everywhere. If you're struggling to get a clean mix, try to hear it everywhere and make tweaks like that. So if I'm gonna go in the car, I'll write down some notes. Vocal not loud enough, effects too loud, bass way too hard. And eventually, after you do it over and over, you kind of start to learn the way that your room and your speakers sound. For instance, for me, my room lacks a little bit of bass. And at first, I heard that there was not a lot of bass coming in the room, so I'd crank the bass up like crazy. Then when I go to the car and play it, man, the bass was blaring way too loud. Once I learned that, I kind of learned how to balance the bass a little bit better without overdoing it, because instead of trying to overcompensate for it, I learned, hey, there's not a lot of bass in here. If it sounds like it's missing a little bit of bass in my room, the bass is perfect. So now when I keep that in mind and I translate it to the car, I'm like, yep, it works 99% of the time. I mean, this isn't something that I want to deal with lifelong. You know, eventually when I upgrade my studio, I get a bigger room, or I get better bass traps and stuff, better speakers, I won't have to deal with that. But for now, you just got to deal with what you got, you know, and make do. And at the end of the day, if it sounds good, if the song sounds good, the song sounds good. And my final tip for you guys is this. If you're struggling with trying to get the mix sounding good, if you're working on it for hours, you did 5-6 different mixes already and you still cannot get good results, take a break. Take a break from the song, stop hearing it, go do something else for an hour, get your mind off of it, completely forget about the song, and then come back with fresh ears, a fresh mind, a fresh perspective, and a lot of things will be revealed to you. Don't spend too much time making yourself going crazy over it. Take breaks if you need a break from mixing a song. And using all these tips together hopefully will help you guys spend less time having to fix your mixes and more time just getting the mix right on the first or second time. I know it can be really frustrating and really daunting at first, but trust me guys, with anything it just takes a lot of practice, and with practice you're going to become excellent. So keep working at it. If this video helped you, all I ask is that you leave a comment and like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys have an awesome day. Keep making music, keep posting stuff. I want to see what you guys are up to. Love you guys. Peace.